December 22nd, 1899. The Daily Telegraph, Quebec, Canada. Roman New Year's. Various dates celebrated at different periods. The good old Romans, who had some hard common sense in spite of their self-conceit, believed thoroughly in New Year's Day. They were characteristically careless as to when it should be celebrated, and sometimes it was held at various dates of the year by communities living at no greater distance from each other than a railroad train would take them in these days in a few hours. But so long as they got the full number of high days and holidays into the 12 months, the good old Romans cared little whether they adhered strictly to the almanac or not. Even when Christianity became an established institution in the land, and the Christian teachers began to systemize the days for celebration in which the church participated, there was still a difference of opinion as to the day on which New Year's could properly be celebrated. It is even on record that New Year's Day has been kept on the date set apart for Christmas, while it got so mixed up with the other divisions of time at another period that it was kept on Easter Day one year, and on the 1st of March on another. It is necessary to trace the celebration of the first New Year's Day clear down to the 16th century before any definite understanding of the proper day for the celebration can be found. Brooklyn Citizen. New Year's gifts in Spain. In Spain, as well as in Portugal, the luxury to which a pretty woman devotes the most care and attention is the lace used in the fashioning of her fan and, above all, of her mantilla. Few men have any idea, until they attempt to make a New Year's offering of this kind, of the amount of money that can be lavished on even the smallest piece of lace, particularly if it happens to be old Italian or Spanish point, dating from the 16th or 17th century. Ignorant as the Spanish woman is on most subjects, she is conspicuous for her profound and extensive knowledge of the different kinds of lace, and her talent for distinguishing Point d'Alençon from Point d'Argentan and Point de Venise from that old Italian point known by the name of Greek lace is only equaled by the grace with which she wears the national mantilla and maneuvers her fan. New Year's in Russia. Customs of the festival peculiar to the land of the Tsar. In the smaller cities in Russia, New Year's Day is in the 12 days festival. The Russians in many parts have held to the old ways from time immemorial. The preparations for the season begin early in November. The host of some great house begins to lay in stores of salted beef and sausages, liquors, etc. The hostess calls on all her friends and invites young and old. Next day she is succeeded by the nurse, who makes the same round of visits. Her duty is especially to invite the young ladies. She is hailed with joy, and the lady of the house hastens to mix for her the cup of wine. She delivers her errand and is piled with questions as to the invited and the rejected, but the most important question is, who are the elected? These are the young men invited by the hostess for the girls, or fair maidens as they are called. The duty of the young man, thus designated, is to look after the amusement and pleasure of his fair maiden for the 12 days. The responsibility of the choice, tying with the hostess, she has to be careful in her selections. New York World. A Sultan's New Year gift. A courteous exchange of presents was frequent between sovereigns of various nations. One of the most feminine instances typical of the fashions and customs of the day is apparent in the offerings sent in 1559 by Sultana Valida to the great Elizabeth. It consisted of a costly robe and girdle and 5 handkerchiefs, 2 wrought in gold and 3 in oriental silks, together with rare necklaces of pearls and rubies and a wreath of diamonds. Footprints in the ashes. Sweetened ale or egg flip is the prescribed beverage for the drinking of healths on New Year's. In Scotland, the housewife takes care before retiring the last night of the year to spread the ashes smoothly on the hearth. If in the morning the print of a foot can be detected, with the toe pointing toward the door, it is thought to foretell a death in the family during the year. But If the toe points in an opposite direction, there will be a marriage soon. Atlanta Constitution. New Year's loving cup. A bowl of spiced ale in which were roasted apples, toast, and sugar was carried round from house to house New Year's Eve by the village maidens, who sang songs and wished everyone a happy New Year. The loving cup of present times is a relic of this ancient and still observed English custom. Selected. Puritan New Year's. The Puritans objected to New Year's gifts as a heathenish custom, but it was quite as universal as Christmas gifts. Exchange. An English custom. Carrying branches of evergreens hung with apples, oranges, and gaily covered ribbons, the children still parade the streets of some old English towns, aganowing, as it is called, from the words of the ditty they sung. We're coming to give you warning, it's New Year's Day a morning, with a hey and a how, and an aga aganow. Atlanta Constitution.